peace and blessings, peace and blessings to the whole house, to the northern and to the southern kingdom, aka the kingdom of the one and only, the biggest troublemakers on the globe, biggest troublemakers, the biggest mess makers on the globe. You know, messed up the whole earth, got everything all discombobulated, everybody mad at you, and yet you're still the apple of the Father's eye, and that's the kingdom of the Israelites. Shalom to you, family. Shalom
Shalom.
to all the book people, wherever you are on this earth. If you're in Bangladesh, if you're in Shangri-La, if you're in Australia, if you're in the United Snakes of America, if you're in South America, if you're in the land of Cham or Akibu land, if you're in Europe, if you're in Palm Desert, or if you happen to
Mm.
be in Colorado, peace and blessings to you. Shalom to you. Shalom to you, sis. And I want to say also shalom to my brothers who's not on right now, my other brothers, Najee, Elias Shah, and Banya. Shalom to you, brothers. The Cape Crusaders, those gentlemen are the super friends or the Legion of Doom, depending on your perspective. Shalom,
Depending on
sis.
who you are, depending on who you are. Shalom to
How
the
you doing?
family. You too, Brother C. I'm just glad to be here to be able to witness the manifestation of our ancestors' prayers, the promises that were given to them. And it's such a great time. I understand that some people may feel a little bit discouraged by what they see, but we not walking by what we see. We standing on covenant,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I hope everybody is well. Share this information, share this out. I do want to make one announcement before we even start everything. If
Yes.
you are commenting in the chat, because last week I realized that people were trying to engage in the live chat, but those messages were actually coming to me directly on YouTube. You know how they have that new function or that feature where you can inbox people on YouTube?
Hmm. I know
Um,
that's above my pay grade. Even all my stuff is above my pay grade.
or it could be maybe some of us are beta testers, who knows, right? But the comments were not going into the live chat. They
Mhm.
were being sent to me personally or privately as inboxed messages from YouTube.
Hmm.
So if you want to engage in the live chat, make sure your comments coming up and you can see it in the live chat. If not, you probably need to adjust something, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah, because and just on top of that, like last week we had the brother Yashadet come in, and I didn't have the live stream up because I'm operating in the background with StreamYard, and I didn't even see his comments come up. So it's some kind of wire jiggling going on with that. But you guys make comments, comment, like, and share, and also share this with your family. And it's again, it's not about Salt of the Earth Productions. Listen to the name; it's called Salt of the Earth Productions. It's not called Salt of the Earth Camp, Salt of the Earth Ministries. And so from that, we're going to jump right in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the book of Daniel. And hope you guys don't mind us reading some precepts this morning. We're going to start there, and then we're going to progress forward. And I'm going to share my screen.
Wait, brother, see, you ain't got a message for the lurkers?
Oh, my bad. Hey, listen. Those of you who are listening in, sneak listening, hide listening. I know the Fantastic Four, the brothers is listening when they can, and they sneak listening, but they need to get saved, but they don't count. I'm talking about the enemies and the friends that watch the show, and also those who are watching and taking notes so that they can go back and report to their paymasters, because we know that there's a lot of that going on these days.
Yep.
If that wasn't the case, then you wouldn't have the UN and Ghana the plug moving so fast to secure reparations that don't really have anything to do with CARICOM, nor does it have to do with you. quiet is kept. The whole earth revolves and centers around one people and one people only. We didn't make it that way. We didn't make this construct because some of you may have been equitable to everybody, and he was equitable to everybody because he gave you liquid money as a blessing to the earth. And you're a
Right.
blessing to the earth because everybody see you and say, "Hey, look, mom and dad, there's a black person. Let's see if we can squeeze all of the nickels, shekels, dollars, and pennies and coins out of them." And then they proceed to do that. Now, isn't that a blessing to them? Dad, can we make these people slaves and have them build our construct, Dad? Yes, son, we can do that because they're savages anyway. We can
Mm,
destroy the ones that were here, and but then conversely, we can bring the other ones on ships and we can have them build our construct and say that we built the construct. Isn't that fantastic, son? Great idea, son. Glad you thought of it. Everything revolves around you and everything is centered around you. So don't get it twisted. So I appreciate that, sis, that public service announcement.
yeah, we can't start without that. I mean, let's not forget that while they were viewing us, and still are in the ways that my brother just explained, their immediate ruling was that let's make sure they can't read and write.
Hmm.
Wonder why?
Hmm. Yeah, because if you could read and write, then it would be easier for you to circumvent their power structure. I was having a conversation with the brothers, the Fantastic Four, I call them, because each one of them is superheroes, right? So as we were having a conversation, and if you look at the so-called African American, believe it or not, dominates in mostly every aspect of life except for one. And you know what that one is? It's called power.
Yep.
Now, if it, and so just knowing that, if you dominate everywhere else except for that one arena, if you were to ever seize uh, just a fraction of that arena, what would happen? You would be able to turn the whole earth upside down because quiet is kept. They know that, and that's the only thing that they know that they can hold on to. And that power, part of that power that they have or that they used to have, is the ability to keep their foot on your neck and to keep you pressed down. But because knowledge has increased and everything has been democratized, they no longer have any power. The 400 years is over as proof of our existence and where we are moving as a hive mind. Believe it or not, we're moving as a hive mind as one. And so, because of that, things have been getting torn down brick by brick.
Right.
So,
And because we're tightening up their ability, right? It's like the well done ran dry on the intellectual property theft. Let's talk
hmm,
about that. You
hmm,
know, we have learned how to utilize the platform to get information out, which is what it should be used for, right? However, they're unable to use that information to build their kingdoms. I
yes,
want y'all to see that the frustration, even though it may come out in another form or fashion, there is some of the rage exists because they can no longer steal from us in the same manner they used to.
yes, yes. You guys have broken the matrix is officially broken. Coronavirus no longer works. So I'm going to go ahead and run fair use, and then we're going to get
Absolutely.
started. I'm running fair use for a specific reason today, sis.
Yep.
Something just prompted me to run, so I'm gonna go ahead and run it. Hold on a second,
Please
fam.
do.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. And this is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to get into today's topic. Now, brother C, did you just jiggle your own wires, or what you do, son? Hold on a second. Give me a
That's okay.
second to get figured out.
So
Okay.
when you guys watch us, the Descendants Weekly Live, you know we're not coming with conjecture, summation, or theory. We're bringing the evidence and the exhibits, many that you have never seen before and probably won't see, because the knowledge that's being brought out is in the code, in the legal and policy framework that we know that our enemies have tried to utilize and were successful for a period of time to bind us, right? So we're going to bring exhibits out. We're going to go through them. And I want you guys to also, look at those things afterwards, because the way that policy and law typically are written, policies and laws are typically written, we might not be able to cover every single line, subsection, section, and that is why it's important for you to go and view it for yourself. We're going to show you the exhibits. You have the ability then to look further. Okay. Bring your questions if you have them. We'll definitely put them in the chat. We'll try to get to every single one of them and give you an answer. All right, brother.
Okay, so we're going to start in the book of Daniel. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and vision of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Verse 2, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. Verse 3, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. Verse 4, the first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, made to stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Verse 5, and behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth. And it said, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Verse 6, after this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. Verse 7, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great teeth, great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the other beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. Verse 8, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. Verse 9, I beheld till the thrones were cast down. The Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like pure wool, almost like Brother C, who doesn't have any. His throne was like the fiery flame, his wheels as burning fire. Verse 10, a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set. The books were open. Verse 11, I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. 12, as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. Verse 13, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven. and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Verse 14, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Verse 15, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. Verse 16, I came near unto one of them that stood by, and I asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretations of the things. Verse 17, these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. Verse 18, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Selah. Verse 19, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Verse 20, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the others which came up, before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Verse 21, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Verse 22, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Verse 23, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. Verse 24, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. Another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Verse 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Verse 27, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. 28, here there too is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. All
Selah.
praise to the Father, Selah.
And so may the words of our mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in the Father's sight, because he is our strength and our mighty Redeemer. I want you guys to note the words kingdom and dominion over and over. We heard those words as Brother C read this chapter of Daniel 7, kingdom and dominion, right? I also want you to look at verse 25, because it talks about the behavior of the one that is being mentioned, right? When you see, and think to change times and laws. We've seen that throughout other scripture where they think to reset calendars, seasons, even I saw in the book of Enoch, right? This is the mentality. So this is the behavior. You can clearly see the behavior of lawless ones, and even those being ordered or commanded by lawless ones. Brother C, I believe that you started this conversation with a discussion about power, right?
Yes.
Or even people under the control of a master that has them come and spy out the enemy camp or whatever they think is their enemy, us, maybe us, right? Try to spy and infiltrate. I call it psychological operations. So look, just note the repetitive nature of how they think to change times and laws. That's probably one of the first things you see happen, especially here in the United States of America, because every 4 years, the presidential cabinet changes. And what is the first thing that they do? Think about how they can change times and laws. Well, let me give you an example. Executive orders. Every single president comes in and has a new set of orders and rules. And that can happen every 4 years because that's the power of an executive order. And the first thing that they're thinking of, how can I change the laws? Let me create this executive order to undo the last administration's executive order. This is the way that my cabinet's going to work, is what that president would say. And these are the policies of my administration. So every 4 years, you can expect to see the manifestation of the thought to change times and laws. We even have a discussion being had about daylight savings time change. Should it exist? Should it not? Right? So you see this behavior manifesting, and it's all around you, whether it's at the state level, whether it's at the local level, but you definitely see it coming through the governance structure of the federal government, right? The federal government, that being the supposedly you know top governance structure of the United States of America, right? 3 branches of government, a constitution, everything else flowing from up under that. So I want you to be paying attention. Now, we titled this show, Who Gets Seen, Who Gets Silenced, the AI, Pope Leo, the current one, and Black Creators Debate. And after we bring out all of the exhibits and evidence, as we do, you will understand why all of that is in the title. So we're going to go exhibit by exhibit to show you the mentality of the thought to change times and laws. My brother C told you that they do that all surrounding our movement and actions. How, I don't like to use the term woke, but how awakened we are. How aware we are to what's happening. And the pivot is happening quick. We saw the UN in Ghana, the resolution on reparations, all of the things that we talked about the previous weeks happening at a rapid rate. One that is so quick, we've never seen before. So we know that they, based on their behavior and their desire to change times and laws to try to resubdue a people, that they realize their time is up. You have anything you want to add to that, Brother C?
No, just real briefly, I'll be brief. The idea, I'm going to put this idea that I always put in your head when I'm speaking. Fam, I'm pretty consistent and pretty redundant. But notice what our people have done, and nobody sent out a memo to us, which lets you know that this is a spiritual move of the Father. One, we stop forgiving the United States and forgiving people, by and large, when they commit heinous crimes against us. Number two, we stop praying for this nation and the prosperity of this nation, and we're moving towards more prosperity and for ourselves and for the nation within a nation, or the kingdom, as Elisha would say, the kingdom that is within this nation, and that's the kingdom of the Israelites. That's us. That's number two. Number three, the idea that you're starting to be economically centered with this boycott that FBA, and if you could be FBA, you could be ADOS, you could be Duxas, you're all Israelites, okay? Whatever banner you want to wear. I don't mind being B1 and FBA because I know what I am. I'll say FBA just so that I could win a brother, right? But the idea that you're doing this economic sanctions against Asia because of their decades of disrespect to our people is brilliant as well. Now, who sent out that memo? The Father sent out that memo. He sent out that memo. He put that into all our minds and all of our hearts to walk away from that bastard church that we've been going to all these years, giving them 10%. COVID knocked them out of the box. Okay. Now, all of these moves happened when? Right around the time that our 400 years was up, and they were building steam. But you notice that since the 400 years was up, you brothers and sisters have had free reign to do whatever you want within the frames of the Father's will. Now I'm gonna yield there. I could keep going.
Brother C,
I'm
you
gonna
mean
yield
to
there.
tell me,
Mhm.
you mean to tell me that our people are no longer funding Creflo, Kenneth's, and Joel's jets, private jets?
If they are, the Father's gonna make a mockery out of them, not me. But a lot of them, a lot of these churches have lost a lot of money because I think the Father, I don't think I know, the Father pressed upon men's and women's mind that the 10% was never supposed to be about no cash. The book says, bring all my tithes to the storehouse so that there might be meat. So what does that mean? That means that when my sisters and brethren don't have anything to eat, they can go there and get some food. Now, here's the thing. Okay, so let's say that you have been taking money. Is that money supposed to buy you a private jet, or is that money supposed to be there when a sister or a brother can't pay their phone bill, can't pay their light bill, can't pay their internet bill? They don't have food in their house.
Or
Go
may
ahead.
need a legal defense. Okay, let's talk
Or
about
may
that.
may
Right.
need a legal defense. So
Seriously,
that's
the
what the time.
fatherless, orphans,
If
and widows being
if you're
priority.
if you're gonna be taking tithes, it should be for that, not to buy some idiot a plane or a jet or a Rolls Royce. I'm sorry, and I'm not hating on them. I
Nah.
mean, get it where you live. I'm not. I've never hated on what anybody has achieved materially, and I love material things, but I won't spend on name brand stuff. That's just not me. But I say all that to say I've never been a hater. I enjoy it, and I'll give people props when they got stuff. But it's not about that per se, and it's not about me hating or pocket watching them. No, if you don't took in $100 million and you talk about you got a house that's worth 10, you got your cars is worth another 5, all the cars you have, the homes is worth another several million. So you don't went through 100 million. How much have you given back to the people that's in your that sit in your pews? A, B, when someone has a need, and I had this church do me when I was young, really young, had a family, wife, and kids, right? At this children, not kids, family, wife, and children. And I went to the church saying, hey, I need some help. Give me a few dollars so I can, keep the electricity on, right? And you know what they said? They said, hey, we'll get back to you. We got to have a tribunal. I'm like, well, why? I mean, look, what's the point in donating, giving you 10% of my winnings and earnings when you got to have a tribunal just to give me a couple of shekels back so that I could take care of myself, at least until I get paid? So that whole mechanism of them taking tithes and fleecing the church is by and large mostly over. And if anybody is in the curse, because Christianity is a curse, if anybody is still in that curse of Christianity, I pray that you get out, and I pray that you get out expediently, because that curse is actually written of, and it's called the broad gate that leadeth to destruction. There's no way that you have 2.5 adherents, 50,000 different denominations, which are different flavors. New flavors are being created and made every day, like as if it's something to eat. And but you only have one book, you only have one Father, and you only have one wisdom, and she does not condone any of that foolishness, nor can you find Christianity even in the Bible. So I'm gonna stop preaching. We're gonna get back to task. My bad.
Our people are in that wicked Christendom. I'm calling it Christendom. If you watched last time, you understand exactly what I mean. I'm not just asking you, I'm making a declaration that you come from among them. And not only come from among them, but take your place in the right kingdom and pray for the dominion that is granted to you. Now, if we look at verses 14, 22, 27, we see that it is given to the people, to his people. Kingdom and dominion. How many of you guys actually believe that and wake up every day? And this ain't no feel good message. Wake up every day and say, Father, grant me the dominion to do what I need to do where I'm at. We know
what?
that you are going to give us judgment. Give me rightful judgment. Help me have the power of righteousness and justice coupled, the wisdom to use it as a defense or an offense, whichever one you need it for. Like, when we understand what is granted unto us, then that should change our requests and our actions.
Well, you just asked a question, and Dr. Gary, in one of my favorite verses, is you'd have to ask people, okay, so if you believe this, then you would have to ask them, well, where exactly is the kingdom? Where is it? Where is the kingdom? Where is the kingdom of the Israelites? That's why I greet you guys that way for a specific reason. Well, where is the kingdom?
Well, further down, Brother C, it says, under the whole heaven.
Okay.
So they're trying to tell you to look for a pie in the sky. Further down, it says, under the whole heaven.
Wait a minute. So it's not, wait a minute. Hold on. So if it's not pie in the sky, then where is it? That's like a trick question.
Within you, within me, within the people of the book watching. So then we got to then talk about power, because I thought, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that the kingdom is of power and not mere talk.
That's another thing. So you mean you got to be doing something?
Right. So pray for dominion, pray for it for where you're at. Judgment granted to the saints or the people of the book, right?
Okay.
Because if we use the word saints, sometimes, folks start wanting to sing when the saints go march.
No. Let me stop you right there. Okay, so we done did disclaimers already, and the saints are the book people. Okay.
Right.
And it's nobody else. You could call yourself the saints, and it doesn't mean the church people, doesn't mean the Episcopalians, the Christians. Amalek doesn't mean the Jewish people, doesn't mean the Muslims, or none of that. When you say the saints, that's the book people, because that's who were identified as the saints in the Torah and the Tanakh, in what you call the New Testament as well. I want to read this precept because this tells you where the kingdom is. This is Luke chapter 17, verse 21. Neither shall they say, lo here or lo there. You ain't got to go looking around for no kingdom, because guess what? Behold, the kingdom of the Father is already where? Within you. So you don't have to go looking up for something to drop out of the sky. You don't have to wait for Casper the friendly ghost to come back talking about some hocus pocus rapture from those stained glass from that hippie in Greek wearing Greek clothing. You don't have to wait, because the kingdom is already within you. So what are you doing waiting for the kingdom?
They didn't even put woolly hair on their stained glass. You know what? We're not gonna go there.
Okay, so we can do a whole other show bashing out all the stained glass on the whole earth, specifically in the United States, because it need to be bashed out. As my brother Judah would say, them churches probably on ley lines and all kind of manner of evil probably hitting them now, because they got that idol up of that stained glass, that hippie, that flower child with long stringy hair. His daddy, the zigzag man father, was never a carpenter, because he would have been cut up in yoke. Stop playing. Right. Anyway, let's keep going. This
is what I take it as. That means when I go walk my 10,000 plus steps a day, because I like to keep track of my health.
Yes.
And what I'm doing, that the kingdom's with me. It's in me. And when you see it in that way, then your prayers, your declarations, what you think about your ability to do this, or not the zigzag man. We was not trying to go there, y'all. We trying to stay focused. Smoker. It changes, right? Because now I know that everywhere I am is the wisdom, the power, the resources, the dominion, the righteousness, the justice, the ability to make right, just decrees or judgments, right, is in me. I don't have to listen to the fraudulent authorities making their fraudulent claims when they haven't ever had to prove that they're credible about what they say anyway. Not
Yes.
Da Vinci's boyfriend. So I hope
Yes.
that this changes your thought, your mentality, and what you see and what you experience, and then what you act upon. Always going back to how are you using your talent?
Yes.
I hope that
Yes.
you multiply and expand, because that's what we should be doing, praying for a strategy and a plan to take over and doing what we're shown. Okay,
Yep.
dominion. So we'll go ahead and move forward with the first exhibit.
There we go.
All
You
right,
want me to read that or you want to take it on? It's
I'll
up to
take it
you.
on. So as you
Go
guys
for
can
it.
see, this is etymology. The word etymology is the use, the definition, the breakdown over time, how words flex and change, where they came from, right? Their root. And it helps you understand more about the words that are being used. So as you can see, prominence is the word that we're going to look into. 1590s, okay? Projection, a standing or jutting out from the surface of something. From obsolete French, prominence, 16th century. From Latin, prominentia, a projection, a jutting out. Abstract noun from prominere, jut or stand out, showing you the progression of the word and how it formed. Be prominent, overhang. From pro, before or forward. So you see that they showed you, they're going to show you the prefix and the suffix, right? See pro, maneri, project, jut out, which is related to mons, heel, from the Proto-Indo-European, which is PIE root, men, to project, meaning distinction, conspicuousness, and that is attested by 1827 as a type of solar phenomenon by the 1862. So the word was then used as, solar phenomenon by 1862. So we want to see the entries linking to prominence. Okay. Proto-Indo-European, root meaning to project. It might form all or part of these following words. Look at the words that are related to prominence: amenable, amount, cismontane, demeanor. Now that is one that I see as a very important one to remember. When you think about prominence, someone is projecting that demeanor, right? I said that. What are the thoughts and their actions? The mentality or the thought to change times and laws, and then to project that onto the populace or the people, right? Dismount, eminence, imminent, imminence, imminent. Now, you guys see the words just change, either spelling or whatever. We've already talked about, and Salt of the Earth Productions have already put out more than enough information about the use of J existing and when it came into being, right? We don't have to go over that. Just know that words change their spelling, their usage, and sometimes their meaning, if it's slang, depending, or slurs, over time. Menace.
Stop right there. Stop right there at this one. This is this one right here. When you hear the term Dennis the Menace, or I'm sorry, Menace, then something should pop into your mind. That hippie heroin addict was a menace to our people. They whole race, that whole race of people was a menace. And they got everybody following behind them. I'm gonna keep going. Go ahead, keep going, sis.
Okay, now we see Menacious, Minatory, Mons, Montage, Montagnard, Monte, Mount. Noun one, hill or mountain. Mount. Mount up on your horses to get up, right? To get up on. Mountain, mountebank. Mouth. Osmond, Piedmont. Interesting.
Mm,
Promenade, prominence, prominent, promontory, remount, surmount, ultramontane. It might also be the source of Sanskrit manya, nape of the neck. Latin mons mountain, eminere, to stand out. Old Irish muin, neck. Welsh MWNWGL, neck. MWNG, main. And also Welsh MYNYDD, mountain. Okay. Now we're going to look at the word forming elements prominence. So if you take off the pro, you see eminence, or some people may say they see eminence. Okay. Now think about the word dominance. So we're getting somewhere when we look at dominion, prominence, power, authority, how people will change things to suit what they want to do. Okay. And when we look into laws and policies, we have to understand the word usage is intentional. It's never by accident. Well, I don't believe in coincidences, but this is why I'm breaking down the word for y'all. Okay. Word forming element, meaning forward, forth, put forth, right? Toward the front, as in proclaim, proclamation, proceed, beforehand and in advance, prohibit, provide, taking care of, procure, in place of, on behalf of, proconsul, pronoun, from Latin pro, as advanced prep, on behalf of, in place of, before, for, in exchange for. People that are writing laws understand all of this. Just as, which also was used as a first element in compounds and had a collateral form, por. Okay. Also, in some cases, from cognate Greek. Now we'll bring the Greek elements in after the Latin. Pro, before, in front of, sooner, which also was used in Greek as a suffix, as in problem. Both the Latin and Greek words are from the Proto-Indo-European. Source also Sanskrit, pra. Before, forward, forth. Gothic, fara, before. Old English, for, before. So we see that there are things like that seem more close, that it's happening as something that precedes a thing, or something that is proclaimed to be enforced before a thing is even declared, right? Both the Latin and
You know
Greek.
what? I must stop you right here. I'm
Okay,
gonna
go
stop you.
ahead. Go
You know
ahead.
what this is? You know what this is? All this is. I'm gonna say it
Wordplay,
this way. This is all hocus pocus magic.
definitely.
Okay, keep going. We don't have to say nothing
Okay.
else. Keep going. Keep going.
So before an account of, now how many, before, for, on an account of, now how many people, I just want to say this because laws are most relevant to a lot of people when they look at the criminal so-called justice system. Okay. Where the criminals get justice, but the innocent don't. And now, how
No, I
many?
must stop you. I must stop you right there. I must stop you right there. There has never been, a very rare occasion, that a so-called black man or woman get justice on this plane.
Right. That's because the criminals are. It's already proclaimed beforehand
Yep.
for the criminals to get quote unquote justice, but for the victims, the injured party, the harmed, not to. Right. The This is in the book. Can't find justice in the courts.
Mm,
Right.
mm.
Now, does that mean that I don't pursue righteousness and justice? No, I would never stop pursuing what is right and what is just on behalf of our people. But we know that they have it set up beforehand, even accounts of things that are lies beforehand, an account of. their agenda, their whatever that may be,
For their agenda.
for it. Okay. So when you know that, it helps you reposition yourself in a way that you're not blindsided. See, the Father will give you wisdom if you pray for it and you seek it. Okay. Now, from forward, from Old Irish roar, enough. That's interesting. An extended form of the root per, forward, hence, in front of, before, toward, near, etc., etc. So when we think of people plotting to continue their narratives and frame people on all kinds of charges and things, it's when you break down words, especially those that are used right in your face and in a system that they call criminal justice, which heavily relies on the Latin interpretation of words and meaning, because the legal terminology is rooted in Latin, right? Then you start to see a picture of how people have fraudulently stolen authority and dominion that belongs to us. And we should be daily saying and agreeing with what is in Daniel 7, that we have the kingdom and the dominion. It is given to us and no one else. All right. So let's see. If you go down a little bit, let me finish this off. And the common, right above that. The common modern sense of in favor of or favoring pro-independence, pro-fluoridation, pro-Soviet was not in classical Latin and is attested in English from early 19C. So like this is one of the things that you see attested means that that's when they said this is going to be used this way. Okay? It's an attestation, right? So in English from early 19th century, you see the use of pro before other compound words or other things like countries, pro-Soviet, agendas. They're all related to agendas. Pro-fluoridation, meaning fluoridating the water, right? Putting fluoride in something. You're for it. That means you're for it. Okay. If you have anti, that would mean you're against it. Okay. And so we'll do more of this word breakdowns because it's good to look at how they use words like pro and dis, in, in before the words, and look at the roots. Let's look at the graph underneath it. And as you can see at the bottom is going to show you the years. Now, this is a word usage graphing, right? How the word is used over time, the frequency of the word usage. Now, I want you to think of what kind of people or entity maps how people are using words over time. And for what? Why would I want to document and study how someone is using a word over time? And what could I do with that information is what you should be thinking when you see graphs like this.
Okay, so let me ask this question because, so the first thing that I saw a progression of kingdoms basically right here in front of you, right?
Yep.
The Latin, the Greek, the English, and then modern day is an offshoot of that, the English. But you'd probably want to map it because is there some sort of, and I'm just spitballing here, is there some sort of formula when you use words and as you combine them that it does some sort of something in their realm? Like for instance, being able to decode and see past what they're putting in front of you to see what they're really trying to do to you, basically.
Right. And that's why I'm bringing this out. If we remember my discussion about Penamwa from the book of Enoch showed men, corrupted men, by showing them the bitter and sweet of their knowledge. But the one thing that he did is that it said that is still corrupting to date, right? Is that he taught men how to confess their faith or use ink and paper to confess their faith, men were not created to do such things. Because when you codify stuff, writing it down, whether that be through manuscript, typing or AI, whatever you want to, whatever mechanism you use to codify something, then it's easy for a proclamation, proclamation of independence, a constitution.
You funny. I see you. You funny.
You see how you see
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
those things to declare what you should do. Now, I want you to understand that all laws that we have on the books to date, policies, even regulations, codes, the U.S. Federal Code, the Code of Federal Regulations, I mean, the U.S. Code and the Code of Federal Regulations, all of those are principles by which they want you to live by. But what they have done, or either their social norms that society has adopted, like we're gonna do this, and this should be applied to everyone. And with law, whether it's positive or negative, you get a consequence or a guarantee. Okay. I want to break this down so you know. With laws, there's either positive or negative. Constitutional rights as guarantees are more of what we see as positive law. Okay. A lot of what the criminal justice system operates off of giving consequences, what we see as negative law. Like if you don't do this, if you don't act in this way, if you don't think in this way, if you don't show that you are going to behave in this way, then here is the consequence. And we'll apply that consequence as we see fit and to whom we believe is deserving of that consequence. And we'll also give the guarantees and the rewards, which some people call rights. I have the right to, as we see fit and to whom we see fit to deem it to. Then when you see it that way, then you see the reason why words can be put out into society. I could make up a phrase tomorrow and then track it over time to see if it's functioning in the way that I wanted it to function. See that?
Do you know who's the greatest at doing that, though? Even though we don't understand our power with regards to this, because this is power. This is a form of power, basically, right?
Absolutely.
But you know who's great at doing this, though? Are the book people.
Absolutely.
Give you an example. We'll use a phrase, we'll say something, and then the whole world will start saying it. And then it because I'm going to use this phrase, but it's a lot deeper than just being cool, right? We'll say something, and then all of a sudden the whole world picks it up, and then they're using it, and then you'll see it on TV, you'll see it in movies, you'll see it in sporting events or wherever, but it'll be stuff that we say. And so I don't know if people recognize that or not.
And I want you to think of why, right? Why are our terms and phrases, and even some people call it Black English, some folks in the past used to call it Ebonics. We essentially have our own language, and that code switching happens by region. So what I say from California, my brothers and sisters in the Midwest can understand, but they may have their own way of saying it.
Right, but you just hit the key point, though. You could listen to them, and they do have their own vernacular. That's true. A lot of that has to do with the area, but the powers and principalities that are over that area, that's a different conversation. But they'll say something, and we'll automatically understand it. We don't need a secret decoder ring. No, you could say that. You could even say the differences between, like, for instance, if you live in California, Northern and Southern California will have a different vernacular. Southern California, LA will have a slightly different vernacular than the brothers and sisters in San Diego County, which will have a totally different vernacular from Houston, which would have a totally different vernacular from Chicago. For instance, I'll give one. It's a bad example, but I'll give this anyway because it popped into my mind. Okay, so if you said a kilo of cocaine, right? Some places might call it a brick. Some places might call it a bird. Some places might call it a stone.
Mm-hmm.
And these are different things that I heard, our people say. Not that I know anything about this, because I was never involved in none of that, just as a disclaimer.
But you hear it. We hear it. I
But
mean,
I
yeah.
mean, we are part of our culture, whether if we live in the suburbs or if we live right next door to the biggest dope dealer that has ever walked the face of the earth, right? And
Right.
so I said all of those different phrases. Um, a key, that's another one, short for kilo.
Right.
Now, those are all things that our people are made of. I could go into anywhere in the United States and say that phrase, and the person where I'm at will know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the
Right.
outsiders won't know unless we tell them.
Now, if you know, right, that judgment is coming and judgment will be given to the people of the book, wouldn't you hang on every word they say too?
Man.
Okay. Now,
Well,
I just
well, well, for
wanted to
two
throw
reasons though.
that out
For
there.
two reasons though. For two reasons though. I would hang on to every word that they say, because I know that if I use their words properly, I may be able to make some money off of it. Now,
Right.
you may have some that and
Or to
those are the
maintain power, or
strangers,
to
or to
maintain power.
maintain power, yeah,
Hmm.
or to be pulled in because you know that you're a vessel created for destruction, right?
Yep.
But if I listen to you, and K-pop is a classic example of this.
K-pop is a
The
classic example.
perfect example to whereas we have created a genre R&B, and what do we typically do as very creative and ingenuity type people, which we are? We're the most creative people on the globe. I don't give a damn. You can compare us to anybody. The most creative people on the globe are those Israelites that are contained in the 50 states called America, because every music genre was created off of your ingenuity. Name one creative genre that wasn't created without your ingenuity. K-pop, the K-pop people mentioned this last conversation we had. K-pop will tell you, hey, you know what? We the children of R&B. We got all that from R&B. Now our people are so creative, and I say this all the time. We'll create something, and what do? We'll say, "Oh, I'm tired of R&B. Let's go create something else and make up something." Yeah,
Yep.
let me give you another example. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids in them. If you remember that cartoon.
I
Y'all
do.
know there's three things that I know, right? Cartoon, cereal, which I put down, and candy, which I put down. So I got to stay with my cartoons. You remember Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids? Fat
Yep.
Albert, when and they had a band, right?
Yep.
But the band was playing on non-instruments. They only had one person that had a real instrument. He had electrical guitar. Everybody else was playing on pots, pans, strings, not real string instruments, but literal strings, buckets, and so on and so forth.
Look
Okay.
what my brother Mark B says in the chat. He hit it on the nail.
The first one or the second one?
Both of them.
Let's see. Hey, Mark B. Shalom, brother. What's good with you? Hope all is well. But then people going through to monetize it and act like it's theirs for everybody. That exactly. Because if you can steal something from somebody and they don't really give a damn about it, they ain't crying about it, then you can steal it and not ever pay homage, Elvis Presley, and then say, "Oh yeah, I came with it."
Yep.
Osmond Brothers. And Osmond was one of them names when you was reading etymology of that.
And
That was
then he
actually
goes
kind of
on to say
hilarious.
they gonna come and monetize the word or culturally appropriated and act like it's for everybody. Shalom, brother Mark. So
Shalom,
that's the
shalom,
thing.
B.
But
Yeah,
here's the power of what we have to understand about ourselves. Talking about dominion again and the kingdom within you. Are you created in His image and likeness or not? You have that creative power on your tongue. So, I mean, I will tell you that my brother Mark, what he's saying, I've seen happen multiple times. I had to go do a panel discussion, a webinar. Next thing you know, people have utilized that information that I'm sharing as a panelist to create some type of guide or teaching tool, some type of framework, and monetize it for their whatever they want to use it for. Right? Now, we have to take authority over the information and the words that we use. It's that serious. Power of life and death.
I think by and large, though, and shalom again to you, Mark B. It's good seeing you, brother, as usual. I think that what has happened, and nobody sent out a memo, but we're starting to realize by and large the power that we actually have and the dominion that we actually have. It's kind of like we're running on autopilot, or if you have a car that can drive itself, uh, we're actually being driven by the Father. He's driving, and He's driving us to certain things. And unbeknownst to ourselves, we're moving in that direction, me included. I can't sit here and tell you that I know everything. If one can know everything, I know 0.000000000000001% of nothing. Okay, which means that I'm still learning, even at my semi-advanced age.
I tell you what, and we have to understand that all of us are pieces of the puzzle, right? That they've been trying to put together, but cannot, because only the Father can do that. And the thing about it is the one thing that I understand about myself is that I've been given the ability to decode the code, right?
I don't think you should. I don't think you should say that again.
Well,
here's why. Here's why you should keep saying that, because here's why. I don't think that people really understand that they have an office and that they should be operating in that. Now,
well, yeah.
what the sister said was worth, what she just said is worth about $1 trillion. Okay, but it will fly over most people's head. That's why I'm featuring it now. If you've been given something like, okay, I've been given the ability to make brilliant ice cream, and so now I'm going to go to the world and provide this brilliant ice cream to the world so that my people can benefit. I'm being selfish now, right? This sister just said that she's been given by the Father, the one that created this construct, the ability to understand the code and decode the code. Now, that's even above a lawyer. That's even above a judge. That's even above the current judicial system, the whole civil structure itself. It's above that. Why? Because if every law is meant to destroy you, we've got somebody on our team that can look at that and decode it and come with the antithesis or the ability to destroy that which they brought to the table. That's why I'm featuring that. Go ahead, sis.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say it in a way that's intergenerational, right? From the youngest to the oldest person. I'm sure everyone watching this has seen The Matrix, right? Why did they imprison and keep really close the maker of the keys?
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Go ahead and rock that out.
Like,
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Think about that, right? Neo is supposed to be important on the movie. He's the one character that is the most important, but the key maker is equally important. He's the one that they have held captive, and what do you see him doing? And I think it was the second or third episode. He's in that room with all keys, making more keys. Now you have all these keys, and you only have one that'll actually fit what it's intended for, designed for. None of those keys can unlock all doors, right? Each key has a separate function, and he's sitting there making more keys, and Neo goes and gets the key maker out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So I'm not saying that. My name is Ben, and I ain't.
I'm just bringing it up as an example, brother. See, because as you was talking, I seen the key maker, making the keys in my mind. Like, wow, you know what? Bring out the key maker. Okay. So I want you guys to be thinking about that when you are understanding that the kingdom is within you, and everywhere you go. Yeah. I am Blue 365 is right. You can research that. Was the Matrix, stolen from a black woman? And you will find the information.
Disclaimer: stop submitting your ideas to Screen Actors Guild and Write Actors Guild. Don't do that, because now they got database of millions and millions of ideas.
Brother C,
go ahead, sis.
This system is so cold. You know what I mean? Cut you off. I want people to understand.
You good?
When they ask our children to submit essays
Mm-hmm.
on certain topics, that's intellectual property that they're
Yes.
gaining. When people are filling out applications for their organizations to receive a grant, and they send in proposals of what they're going to use the money for, that's intellectual property and creativity, innovation that they
Mm-hmm.
are gaining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's how serious the system is at being able to capture your ideas, your theories, your concepts, your innovativeness, your creativity. And obviously, you believe the bargain may be, well, they're going to fund my project. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Thank you, Brother Mark. They're going to be able to fund the project, or they're going to be able to give your student, based on a scholarship essay, funding for school. But you never knew that how those ideas then that were on paper are going to be brought to life, and what they're going to use them for to then make millions of dollars. So that $5,000 scholarship be application essay becomes multi-million dollar ideas.
Let me
So I
ask a
hope that
question.
you guys pray that the Father will help you maintain and keep your multi-million dollar ideas, and the creativity and the innovativeness with which you come, made in his image and likeness, and not to hand that over anymore.
I have a question related to that. So now then, if I'm in the doctorate program and I write these theses,
Ooh, don't even get me started, brothers.
okay. I'm
No,
just
go
putting it
with it.
out
Go,
there in the
come with
ether.
it.
No,
You can
I
go.
just
Bring
put
it
it
up.
out
Bring
there.
it up.
I just put it out there in the ether. When you write them thesis and you give it to that professor and they give you the stamp of approval so that you can get your doctorate, how many industries will spawn from that thesis? I'm just asking. I mean, I
We
don't know.
listen.
I'm
Maybe the whole
right?
world operates off of what many of us have put in our proposals and reports, right? And at the advent of technological, tools, that's spread across the whole world quick,
Ooh, that's
because
perfect segue. Perfect
right.
segue.
And
Keep
so,
going.
like,
Perfect
check this
segue.
out. And
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna give a personal example. I have I have a doctorate, but I'm gonna talk about my master's in business administration. So my MBA, the final project is we had to design, develop a business, show the break even point, right? How much are you going to invest and spend in that business, and at what point do you break even and start making a profit, not just paying for what you spent, and then show how it could withstand a recession and other types of economic crises. Okay, all in this report. So I'm basically had handed over a business, a model business. It could be, you know, uh, Joe's pet grooming service, or a
Don't use
laundry
Joe.
business.
Don't use Joe. That remind me of Joe Osteen. Pick a different name.
You
That
get
list. Pick
if
somebody else.
it could be Bob, it could be Bob's, whatever, Bob's Big Boy. Even though we know that's a business that exists.
Yeah.
Okay,
Joe
and I'm telling
Osteen.
them how all of this is gonna function over over his whole lifespan. So we have to give projections for the first year, 3 years, 5, 10, all the way to 20 years, because that's what the project for the MBA required. We have to show the graphs, the break even points, where at what dollar amount you break even. And I handed all of that over to the university. And what do you think? They just shredded it at the end?
No, somebody's running several businesses off of that one model. But that's a model
So
basically.
so now we can see why some of these top corporations are headed by idiots and court jesters that can't answer questions about exactly what it is that they do in their business role. How are you a CEO and you can't answer a question about the business? So I just wanted people to, be understanding that this does happen every day. What you said about the PhD and the thesis and what you have to verbally articulate apart from giving that report, those things are not just thrown away and shredded.
Mm.
So if you think about all the people that have been through schools, and our people in particular, there's millions, trillions of dollars sitting in universities. Okay. We're done talking about prominence. I wanted you to bring up the link actually that's supposed to go after this is prominence laws, but you can do a search on Google.
Let me grab that up. Okay, give me a second to grab that up. Prominence laws was second. Yes, it was. Okay, my bad.
It's okay. And I want you guys to know that this is going to be a multi-episode topic. We're not going to stop until we get this understanding all the way to how it relates to Black content creators, right? And our intellectual property. So as you can see right here, we talked about prominence. We broke the word up. This is why I do this, so that you'll see it as soon as you see it with another word like laws. Now you see it with prominence laws, okay, which are a thing. Okay, so you see the prominence laws. Break it up because we just showed you the word etymology. Prominence laws are government regulations that mandate digital platforms and smart device manufacturers to give high visibility and and easy access to local public service broadcasters and authoritative news outlets.
Stop right there. That's a big deal right there. Keep going. That's a big deal.
In an era, listen to how this even is broken down from Gemini or Google, because that's what the AI mode is, Gemini, right? In an era dominated by global streaming giants. Now, Netflix is on there and Disney is on there, but would you consider YouTube a global streaming giant?
Absolutely.
Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Would you even venture to, or say that TikTok is a global streaming giant? Even 100%. Though we may not view it that way, and they might not call themselves that way. They may call themselves social media platform, et cetera, et cetera. But by the time I bring all this information out, you're going to see exactly what they are and how they function. So these laws ensure that domestic, publicly funded, and culturally significant content is not buried or hidden from consumers. Now, that is how they're framing prominence laws to function. But I want you to think in opposites, because we've already seen how the dominating streaming giants are able to get their way. They're able to get their information through, and we're not. As a matter of fact, we talked about how they have reduced the visibility of even this show. Okay. So while exact specifications vary by country, prominence regulations typically enforce three main technical requirements on device manufacturers and platform providers. Pre-installation, okay. Regulated broadcast applications. So you saying regulated broadcast apps are going to come pre-installed on the new devices? And that the apps that we have pre-installed on our devices, from my smartphone to my smart TV to my smartwatch, are regulated broadcast apps. Home screen placement. Local broadcast apps or live TV icons, y'all have seen it, must be visible on the primary user interface without requiring user interaction or navigation through nested submenus. Okay. Equal visual sizing. Local public service icons and applications must be the same size and shape as major international streaming service apps. So let's see how many countries have already taken the charge and implemented these things. Okay. Several countries and regions have recently codified. Oh, there's my favorite word, Brother C.
Where did you see that at? Oh, right there. My bad.
You
Okay.
see it?
You see it? Yeah, yeah, there
Codified.
it is. Oh,
How
go
many
on.
times I tell the people they codify everything?
Man, they tired of I'm tired of hearing. I'm tired of why society always talk about codify. Well, if you
That's what
understood codify, you would understand that you've been hypnotized by not only the English language, but the laws that they have bound you with.
mm-hmm. That's why my hood name is the Queen of Codification. I done forced the hood to say codification, okay? And if that's the only thing you learn and can look up and understand, they codify everything.
I
Okay.
better hear a rapper use this term in their next hit. They better use codify. And then
Right.
the whole world gonna be saying they don't even know what the hell it means. Oh
Look,
yeah, he put the codify in that there. Go ahead, sis.
our people that watch this show gonna know what codification is.
Yes.
So, okay, so look at the country and region. Australia, their key legislation is the Broadcast Services Amendment Regulations of 2024. Applies to all smart TV, streaming sticks, and projectors manufactured or supplied on or after January 10th, 2026. Now, y'all remember that I told you the act and the law comes first. It's predating the actual implementation, okay, of the law. So the decision is made 2 years before the law is even rolled out and implemented. Now, people can voluntarily, and that happens in the U.S. too, even in your state, in your city, in your town, unless it's an emergency contingency order or executive orders. Well, we started talking about that, right? Different kind of orders don't have to function that way. But typically, the way that you see amendments, regulations, laws work is that they're a bill that gets introduced and passed, etc. Once it's passed, it's signed by the governor or the president, whoever needs to sign it, and then it's mandated or rolled out, implemented. So obviously, the regulation was 2026. Now the rule is fully implemented and in full force, mandated from January 10th, 2026. That's this year. Mandates home screen real estate for local apps like ABC View and SBS On Demand. United Kingdom, the Media Act 2024. In progress, currently as we speak, overseen by the regulator Ofcom. It ensures that designated public service broadcasters like BBC and ITV receive appropriate prominence on smart TVs. European Union. That
Stop right there. Hold on. That got by you, didn't it? Look at this phrase right here. We just covered
appropriate
this.
prominence. Yes.
Prominence.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's not by coincidence either. Okay, keep going,
Right.
sis.
Right? Because these are prominence laws. Who is prominent?
Mm-hmm.
Who has the ability to beforehand or on account of or for or before project what they believe is their imminent demeanor
Or domain
domain or dominion,
Mm-hmm.
their kingdom's dominion. Okay.
Mm.
Now y'all see that? Now they done codify the dominant internet kingdom. These are dominant. How can we dominate in the internet space kind of rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in all of the name of fairness and being able to make sure that these authoritative local voices come forward. Well, who is making the decision on whether or not public service broadcasters are relevant to us, the people? Who's making that decision to say they have the most credible information when it comes to media reporting? What about my brother C? Brother C, why you can't be the prominent, person?
Well, I was going to ask that because to me, this looks like a club of Rome, or a club where we set up the parameters, we create the laws, and then only people that we deem appropriate or that we give licenses to can have their app on smart devices or can produce television programs on major networks or otherwise, right? Where it's
Absolutely.
broadcasted to everyone, which is why you have
Absolutely.
the ABCs, CBSs, which is why they have never had any real competition because, quite frankly, uh, our people who are the most creative and who have the most IP and content would overrun them if they didn't. This is a form of plunge protectionism,
Yep.
so that you don't lose power, basically.
Right. So now you see the media conglomerate, call them the streaming giants, call them the social media platforms, call them the public broadcasting, whatever, call them whatever you want, government TV, authoritative, broadcasting, appropriate prominence, quote, quote, flexing their power to say, what? We've had enough of these local content creators.
Well, think about it for a second, though, and this kind of dovetails. Hopefully, I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but
No.
when the book of Daniel says, "Still the book till the time of the end," people would be going to and fro, but what knowledge would increase. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to
How are they
understand
going
that.
to and fro though on the internet, the airways?
Well, they
I'm just
got a
saying,
couple.
like, yeah, a couple ways, but
They,
like
they,
the
they
main way, yeah.
okay. So the main way is what they ingest through media, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Okay,
communicate
so
through media,
and
text
communicate
message.
through media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so think about this for a second. We were disconnected. If you didn't have, if you didn't go to St. Louis, hypothetically speaking, I'm just picking two places. If you lived in, let's say, San Francisco, and you had family in St. Louis, you wouldn't really know what's happening unless you picked up the phone. I'm talking, let's say, the 70s now. You wouldn't
Yep.
really know what happened unless you picked up the phone. There wouldn't be anything in the newspaper really about what was happening, and the
No.
news really wouldn't show anything either, right? Just like the news doesn't show
And I
anything.
don't remember seeing it on PBS, public service broadcaster TV, right? We had PBS, which is public service broadcasters. They have PBSs everywhere. Um, and I remember watching Sesame Street. You saw Sesame Street, but you didn't see
Yeah,
Germany.
you saw that, but the okay, yeah, and
You
you also saw Romper Room and what's that one
right.
geeker? The I thought he was a pedophile, but Mr. Rogers, and the man probably wasn't a pedophile. I
You
just
could
thought he
see Mr.
was
Rogers' neighborhoods, but I
you see
couldn't see
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
the black Irish in their neighborhood.
Okay, so
Right.
and so to that point, you didn't necessarily have the pulse of what was going on in St. Louis in the 1970s
Nope.
unless you picked up a phone call and asked somebody, or unless you went there yourself. Okay.
Right.
Fast forward to today, knowledge and information has been democratized. What do
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that? You could go on a platform like YouTube. If you don't know how to cook, you can watch how they cook, you can get the recipes, and you can make a 5-star meal for someone.
Yep.
Okay. They tell you all the ingredients to use. Now, if you're not a good cook, then you probably gonna mess it up anyway. But I'm using that as an example. So now I can find out what's happening in St. Louis, or what they call the Lou. I could just Google it, or I could just go to YouTube and say, "Hey, show me the latest things that's going on in the hood in St. Louis," and guess what? It'll pop up. It'll pop up,
Oh,
and I'll be able to see.
I was watching children play outside in Central America.
Now, when have you been able to do? When have you ever, since the beginning of time, been able to do it? Now, I won't say since the beginning of time. Let me reframe this. Since we've been here, that since I've been here, that kind of thing didn't happen until I started hitting the internet in the mid '90s, right?
Yeah,
But then
we had what was it? MySpace.
you had MySpace, but then even prior to that, you had BBS systems. You had BBS boards, which precluded
Mm-hmm.
the internet. Then
Yep.
you had Netscape, which was a browser. But even before that, you had BBS and you had a modem. Um,
Yes.
I think 9600 kilobaud modem. It started out with 24, 1200, 600, but then it went up. I think it got up to like highest was like 12.8.
Brother C, did you have
cell
did you have
modems. Go ahead.
did you have Earthlink or AOL?
AOL.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
So
you
it's
could,
so, go ahead. Go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
only way we could talk, from what I remember, and I was born in the 70s, but in the late 70s, right?
Mhm.
77 to be exact.
Mhm.
I remember the only way we could talk to anyone outside of our neighborhood even was if we went onto like a Pogo, like a game website where everybody's
Mhm.
playing these games on the computer. And then they had like a chat space, right? And I
Mhm.
think that was probably the first time that I had actually engaged with people around the world.
Mhm. Mhm. Now, just imagine all of a sudden now, if you want to learn about something or if you want to gain knowledge about something, you have the internet and you can gain knowledge of that. It doesn't matter. You can watch them on YouTube or TikTok or wherever. I'm sure you're not going to be a brain surgeon, but you could at least see what they're doing. But if
Yep.
there's something that you want to learn about that's either germane to what the Father has put in you to bring forth to the earth, or if you have a love for something, which that's the same thing that I just said. He said he's love, and he put that love in you to love certain things that you love doing on a day-to-day basis. And you're supposed to be bringing those things forth to the earth. So with the internet, now you have a way of looking at how those things are done. Now, the internet has taken it a step further. They've given you access to artificial intelligence. So with artificial intelligence, they've really, and I don't know that they meant to do this, but everything was democratized already. You've got people like, and I'll use him as an example because I love what he does, and I'm addicted to his platform. That's Country Wayne. Shout out to Country Wayne and all of the actors and actresses that have played on Country Wayne. Some of those people are on major movies and major shows and major films, and you wouldn't know it. But if you're a fan of Country Wayne, you'll see this. But Country Wayne is a great example of how he was able to, and he's not the only one, but I'm singling him out. How he and his team grew and democratized entertainment, so that, okay, so if you want to get this kind of entertainment, our entertainment for us, by us, then you could tune in. And he puts out a few shows, like a lot of shows daily, and you'll get addicted to it, just like crack. Now, I've never been addicted to crack. I'm just using that as an example because I hear that crack and heroin is rather addictive. So is crystal meth. So it's been democratized. Now, with the advent of artificial intelligence, a famous person once said that AI takes the grunt work out of the things that you can do. Hollywood was
Mm-hmm.
put on notice because of the fact that now you don't need these army of writers. You don't need these army of people that can do certain things that were done in the television and film industry. AI has taken a lot of those jobs. You don't no longer need these armies now. If you have an idea, or if you're clear about what your ideas are, you can actually construct and build actual tangible things by using artificial intelligence. Now, there's another intelligence that's even above AI. I'm not going to touch on that, but there's even something that combines not only AI, but the Internet of all things, and it's even more powerful, but we're not going to get into that. So
Well,
now is
you
that.
already see like moving in the direction of the thing that
Mhm,
you're not getting into
mhm,
when you can create a master prompt for AI. They're already moving you out of the system when they're telling you to master prompt it, let it do its thing and move on, right?
mhm, mhm,
So like that's a prep for what's to come. And you these laws are going to continue to come, obviously. Australia and the EU and the UK leading the charge, right? But you can just think about, well, which nation will be next. I want to go back to where it says the European Union. It's in review. The status and the scope of what they're trying to do is audio visual media services directive. Okay, in review. Individual member states like Germany, France, and Italy have introduced varying national laws or rules The European Commission is currently evaluating unified EU-wide prominence guidelines. Okay. Now, one of the sentences, when you go back up to Australia, the last sentence under the active was active. I want you guys to think about what that's actually saying. Mandates home screen real estate. Now, how do you, real estate, you're talking about virtual space real estate. Okay. Virtual space real estate. We got to have a prominence or eminent domain. Y'all heard that word before. Mm-hmm. An eminent domain law to regulate the virtual home screen real estate, land, property. Who gets shown first, prioritized in the app order, the biggest to the smallest. And obviously government TV, aka public service broadcasting, is going to be first, or is going to be able to be alongside of it in the same priority as some of the streaming giants. Okay. So now you can see who's behind these prominence laws. If you go down, we'll continue to cover this because it's something that, is still evolving. The evolution beyond connected TVs. This is important. While prominence rules originally targeted physical hardware like smart TVs, set-top boxes, and streaming sticks, legislative debates have expanded to the broader internet ecosystem. Well, how did we see that coming? Because that was what it was designed to do. That's why pro-eminence, right? Social media and algorithms. In the UK, the proposals have been introduced to expand prominence rules to social media platforms like YouTube. Really? That's not
true. That word again. They're going to word again. They came up twice. Prominence.
The goal is to reshape recommendation feeds so that the authoritative, who made them the authorities and credible sources of information, local news remains discoverable during times of social unrest. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that they care about making sure that the authoritative local news is discoverable during a protest, Brother C?
No, that's a cover for saying when we want to throttle Big Judah, Salt of the Earth Productions, any Wise Society, the Bold Authority, Big Levi. If we want to throttle any of their channels, all we have to do is say that, and they've already been doing this, that, hey, we want them to not be ahead of the silly shit that comes out of Fox News, right?
Right. And they say it in the next sentence. They want them to be discoverable instead of, or rather than, being eclipsed by independent content creators. Ooh, a whole bunch of people gonna lose their money, ain't they?
Yeah. And they've already, the United States of America has already started enacting that, because I've been hearing a lot of people complaining about how they're not making as much money as they used to because of not necessarily throttling, but because how the platform is morphing, which really means that what should be happening is we could build our own platform today if we want to. You could literally build your own streaming platform today, and you don't have to wait. Why? Because everything has been democratized in a way that you no longer need the billions and bazillions of dollars. It doesn't mean that you can't make that, but you could build something right now that would rival Netflix if that's what the Father's given you to do. See, we always go back to that, right?
What so they're telling you, yeah.
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead, rock out, sis.
But I want you to highlight that last sentence under social media and algorithms. They're telling you what their goal is. They are tired of these independent content creators, and I'm saying
no. Stop right there. I got to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm
gonna interrupt you. Here's why I'm gonna interrupt you. Every law, and I'm gonna remind everybody on this chat and anybody that's sneak listening and people that come on board later, every law that's always created on this earth is to keep one people in the box, and that's the book people, and that's it, and that's all. Who has the biggest influence on the earth right now? We've already explained that. Now, if you talk about this right here, some of your biggest names on the internet is these content creators.
Yeah.
And they want to take that genie of democratization and try to put it back in the box. And they think that AI is going to help them do that. But I'm here to tell you, AI is not here to help you put us back in a box. We could utilize AI to further build the kingdom of the Israelites. Point
Right.
blank. So go ahead, sis. Rock.
So you see, this is under social media and algorithms. We know by being throttled that this has already been taking place.
Yes.
But this is them saying it's no longer going to be something we think about. It's something that we're going to legally mandate. What I tell you about laws created to bind you. Okay. See, because some of y'all did a little bit too much during COVID by sharing information that couldn't be controlled or contained. Telling who the book people are. Ooh, y'all done messed up, huh? You know, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic. I don't want nobody saying that I'm Uncle Ruckus.
No. They know you play. Hopefully they can hear your voice now.
So I want you guys to understand, when your content's not getting out, it's not just conspiratorial. It's not just, maybe I'm imagining this, or let me put an extra hashtag or another kind of tag or key phrase to description to try to get my stuff pushed out. You're fighting against the mandated algorithms.
Yep. I mean, I look at our channel. We used to get thousands upon thousands of views when we would shut down a stream. We lucky to get a few hundred now. Whether it's watching, and we used to have hundreds of people watching live. We lucky to get a handful now. But here's the thing, though, and here's what's the important part of this conversation. I'll keep saying this, is that the information that you get from us, especially all of the information, but the information that you get from Salt of the Earth Productions is information that you're not going to find anywhere else on the YouTube sphere or TikTok. I challenge anybody to go find the videos that me and the sister put up. Not alone the videos that the four horsemen of the apocalypse done put up throughout all the time that we've been here. Not even including that. Just take from the sister working with me and her doing this work going forward. Okay. I challenge anybody to find any of the information that we put out, find it on another channel. Why?
They wouldn't even be able to find the kingdom conversations being had.
Oh, not well. We don't even listen. And see, here's the crazy thing about it. This information kind of like goes hand in hand with the kingdom conversations. Yeah. And it's even a cut above. And I say it's a cut above because if you say that codifying and understanding the law the same way that you understand the 600 plus laws that he gave us in the book that he said he wanted us to keep, if you even say the 10, okay, the 10 have to be codified. Yep. Have to be understood so the layman can approach and do them, right? So now we got a powerful stalwart in our midst, and we don't even recognize it. Okay, you don't even recognize somebody telling you, "Hey, you know what? You don't need a lawyer. Just give me what they." And the sister gets these calls all the time. Hey, it could be Uncle Al, the kitty's pal. It could be Brenner and Crumpiner. The sister will get a call. Hey, we got a situation where this brother got locked up, or this sister got locked up, or this sister's in trouble. Here's what they put down. The sister will go through codified. Okay, throw this at them, and then that person will be able to get set free. Okay, you have an entity in your midst that you have no idea. So when we talk about these conversations, when we go into these conversations, best believe I'm knowing what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking.
Right.
The information that comes out on this channel, you're not going to find it anywhere else. And quite frankly, it's a good thing, because here's why. Only the smart, and I'm not just saying just the smart people tune in, but the people that tune in, you have an IQ above your shoe size. You're not just sitting around waiting for who shot John, or who slept with who, or who this rapper is, or what's this greatest shoe. You're not waiting for that. You're waiting to build the kingdom.
Right. And I'm giving you the recipe and formula, right? Because
Free.
the way that we should be looking at this is we know that it's already coming. We know that some countries have already done it. We already see the plan. What are we doing in opposition to it? And I'm not talking about protests. Or what are we doing to utilize it to our advantage? What are we doing to ensure that we have the dominion, because the kingdom is within us, right?
Build your own. Build your own. Do the AI one, please, because that one got some powder kegs in it too.
AI assistant. So I want you guys to know, and this is going to apply broadly, and I'm going to tell you how after I finish reading this. When you think of the word AI assistant, okay? Organizations like the European Broadcasting Union, EBU, are lobbying for future laws to cover artificial intelligence interfaces. They argue that when users query AI assistants for news or information, that AI should be legally required to properly attribute and surface verified public media content, government sponsored media content.
So
Okay.
only what they approve then?
Only what they approve. And
Okay.
and this is going to open your eyes when I say every single child that has a Section 504 plan or IEP has a area on their document where they have to talk about what kind of assistive technology or tools they need to aid them in their education. If your child has a government granted or borrowed, loaned computer, they got Grammarly on it. Grammarly is considered AI assistance. Know how they're writing in the Word document and Copilot comes up with a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're talking about. So this is not just when we're thinking of platforms and smart devices, like watches. Think about your child's computer and the programs that are pre-installed on their computer for them to do their schoolwork, or the fact that some students need AI assistive technology because they may be autistic and may not be verbal, but they can articulate with the help of AI assistive technology. And that's going to be regulated so that they'll be legally required to surface verified government-sponsored public media content. So if I look up a definition, is that going to be controlled? What about the thing that we started with, the etymology website, right? If the government don't agree with the definitions that are on online, then they're already looking at how can these rules, these prominence laws, cover artificial intelligence interfaces. That's a broad and sweeping brush.
You know what I see in that though is that how can we control these goddamn niggers?
Pretty much.
Because I keep saying this, that there should be no reason why anybody is in a bad position. I would say, especially the Israelites, because your 400 years is up. The Father has given you carte blanche. He's given you individuals in your life that have pointed you to the truth. First, the truth of who you are. Next, the truth of where the kingdom is. And then next, how do you even take the kingdom? How do you get it? Where do you get it from? Whose is it anyway? How do I process it? And so based on that, there should be no excuse why you're not building the kingdom within you. You should be building that. You should be actively building that. The kingdom ain't no goddamn pie in the sky. You wait for the great pumpkin Charlie Brown to bring you Christmas presents, nor is it waiting on Santa Claus, nor is it waiting on the rapture.
So I think on that note, Brother C, we're going to stop this episode and the people could come back next week for the next episode, because I wanted to introduce the idea of what's happening, and then we're going to start looking at some of the laws. And I hope that this, what we have shared so far, you share, but also feel encouraged on how you're going to take dominion, because it's already been granted to you.
Yes. Sis, listen, look at the screen and don't make a comment. Just look at that last line noted.
I seen it. I was shaking my head.
All right.
I seen it. It's a disclaimer that's on everything. But, may the Father grant you all the ability to see the kingdom within you, yes, and your right by covenant to dominion. Because we see the imposters, and their eminent domain. We can call it virtual manifest destiny.
That's actually, you better copyright that.
Right? I'm gonna write a blog about it today, so won't nobody steal it.
Oh, okay,
they ain't gonna be able to touch me on the article. And so, look, they're telling you they're looking at this as virtual real estate. Mm-hmm. And where they're gonna be able to dominate the territory of that virtual real estate. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. 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 And so you see danger coming, take refuge. That refuge don't always gotta be you hiding. That could be, a wall of refuge as your defense.
Yes.
So I pray that the Father grants you the resources and the knowledge and the wisdom and the ability to see what it is that you face and be victorious and be the representation that our kingdom is and needs to be on earth, and understand that the judgment rests in the hands of the saints. And we ain't talking about the song when they go marching in.
Did we do a whole show? Or I know I did something that qualifies who the saints are. Hopefully I could dig that up and
please, and put it
parse that up, because when I hear the term saints, I don't think about them Christians. I don't think about them that ruddy cross, that idol, the cross that they got in these churches. And I sure as hell don't think it's stained glass, because every time I think it's stained glass, I want to bust them windows out. They're beautiful. Mosaics are beautiful, trust and believe. But I don't like stained glass, because I don't like that hippie. I don't like that meth addict with stringy hair Christian Bale. I don't like him. I don't like Charleston Heston playing as my ancestor Moshe with a nappy ass wig on.
You know what?
People. Anyway,
you know what? Not Charleston has
Charleston has
Elizabeth. Didn't Elizabeth Taylor play Cleopatra?
Talking about she Cleopatra. And Cleopatra, they should have had that one sister. They did. I think that wasn't an Iman. I think they had her play at one time. Is she from Sudan or from Eritrea, one of them places over there?
Well, Michael Jackson had the video Remember the Time.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what she played on. That's what I'm talking about. They did it the right way. Michael Jackson. And see, you notice this though. And I was looking at Whitney Houston the other day and how beautiful she was, right?
Yeah.
Whitney was bad though. Don't get mad, Mary. I'm just saying she was bad. Mary is my wife. Okay, but
hey,
no.
Mary.
She's not here. I'm just saying. I'm looking over my shoulder as I'm saying that. I'm just playing. But hey, no. But I was looking at a video of Whitney. I said, a picture of her. I said, Whitney was beautiful. Right. But you notice how they've done all our icons. You look at all our icons. And what happened to them, what befell them. Michael Jackson had owned, think about this for a second. Michael Jackson had owned the Beatles catalog, not Brother C's catalog, not a Big Judas catalog, which Big Judas catalog is a great catalog. Blessings to you, brother. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, but I'm using these as examples. Now the catalog of the Beatles was, just think about it. They the greatest that those people have ever aspired to be. But to me, Earth, Wind, and Fire is the greatest band of all time. But that's not the conversation. The conversation is Michael Jackson owned the Beatles catalog. How powerful that is. And so they always take away. They always kill our icons early, right when our icons start recognizing that, hey, it's not really about me. Like Michael Jackson said, they don't really care about us. And he was talking about one specific group of people that's been raping our people from time immemorial. There's one group of people that understand the liquid money concept that I've been driving into your minds all of this time. That one group of people see you coming, and they've been the most exploitive, even more so than what you would call the typical white. I'm not gonna say YT, F that. The typical white person will treat you like liquid money, but there's a white person above white people that are so dastardly, so wicked and evil, and you see their acts all over the earth right now. They have been raping and pillaging, and they own slaves too, but have been raping and pillaging our neighborhoods and our people from time immemorial. So I'm gonna leave on that, and we're gonna continue because, quite frankly, they trying to take.
Look at what Advocate Ann
say.
Advocate Ann say Tyler Perry wigs. Okay. Advocate Ann, go take over that whole entire theatrical thing and make it right.
Oh,
you
man.
Take over that journalism, take over that movie making.
That's hilarious. Right? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Right? So we're gonna close out.
We're gonna close out.
We always close out. Guess what? This has been another Guess Who Salt of the Earth Productions.
See you next week.